Hi, my gorgeous Cancers. This is your December Astrology. Obviously, for the month of December for all Cancer signs. Now, I like to make sure that I try to remember to come out and say, if you're just coming to the channel for the first time and you're coming under, like Venus being in Cancer, this will not be about love. When I do the astrology, I don't see Cancer as love. Many astrologers do. But I see it more as sensitivity and where that takes you, whether it's positive or negative, on the lines of your sensitivity, both emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. With that being said, I also like to remind you, obviously, if you're a core sign, your sun sign is Cancer, then obviously this is for you. But if you're a rising, then this would be following the correct houses for you. So I always remind everybody to, double check your sun, moon, rising, because all three of them may give you a better aspect of what really is going on for the month. And I do that because, like, for myself, I'm a Cancer moon. So everything that I'm about to talk about right now would be, for me personally, would be talking about, my emotional depths, my subconscious depths of what's going on in these houses for a Cancer moon sign. So I just try to make sure I throw that out there and remind you, how you might want to watch the proper videos and help you to understand everything that's going on and where that actually donates into your life in such a way. With that being said, this is for Cancer for the month of December, and I am being told you're going to be overcoming some of your hidden self, in larger groups. You're going to be coming into some of your own higher education, your own higher self energy, and what that brings to the responsibilities of the table, so to speak. You're definitely coming into new levels of inner emotional security, a new level of reincarnation for yourself during the month of December. Revisiting goals that are important to you and identifying them. And for some of you, there might be some short journeys, some short travels that might be important. Might have everything to do with your communication and where that takes your life. There might be like job opportunities that are changing with short journeys, because I don't feel like it's, like long distance. I feel like it's shorter. Anything else? There are some karmic debts that are being paid off right now. And some karmic debts that are being paid off also in the rules of the responsibilities. Roles and responsibilities to relationships is what I'm getting. I guess making them more just, more fair, more balanced. Based off of that higher education of your higher knowledge, that higher self, ethics and morals, spiritual, soulful truths. But some of this, they're saying, is also going to have to do with overcoming some of your own frustrations within your own inflexibilities. And taking action in the physical world by trusting in your spiritual urges and your spiritual creativity. All right, with that being said, let's jump in. I want to back up for just a second and remind you, at the end of November, you had Venus that moved into Capricorn on the 25th. Then you had the new moon that took place. It was actually in Sagittarius, but the whole prior month I kept saying Scorpio, Sagittarius. Scorpio and Sagittarius, because it was a void, of course. So it was an end of something and a beginning of something new. And then you have Neptune, which went direct on the 27th. So it's going to be in shadow, and it's actually probably at its weakest up until mid-January, because it's in shadow. with Lilith right on top of it. But Lilith is strengthening it. And that can be a very positive thing, but that can also easily turn into an egotistical nostalgia idea. We'll get there when we actually get there. Now, for the month of December itself, you have Jupiter, which is moving into Capricorn. I'm telling you right now, Capricorn has bases loaded. Even though we're all kind of walking through Sagittarius, Capricorn is definitely influencing this energy right now. You have Mercury, which moved into Sagittarius on the 9th. You have the full moon, which is taking place in your sign on the 12th. And I am getting a lot of Gemini Taurus energy that is coming with that full moon, according to Spirit. Even though the full moon technically is considered in Cancer, I am definitely getting Taurus Gemini energy with it, according to them. And we'll get into that when we get there. You have Venus, which is moving into Aquarius on the 20th. The Sun, which is moving into Capricorn on the 21st. You have a new moon, which is taking place in Capricorn with a solar eclipse on the 26th. And Mercury will be moving into Capricorn on the 28th. Like I said, Capricorn is bases loaded for you, and this is your house in opposition, directly across from you. So that's definitely going to be speaking volumes to you. But let's take a good look at what's going on. Like I said, first off, you are going to be having a full moon in your sign, the first house, for you on December 12th. Now, this is your self-awareness, your physical body, your personality, your appearance, your view of life, your image, your illumination. And that's really what you're going to be seeing, is illumination of self. But you are going to be coming, it's funny because the first house is the very self-awareness, but it's like resonating energies of that 12th and 11th house is what's going to be making sure that first house gets what it needs during that full moon. Coming into your awareness by overcoming some of that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, where it's not quite on point because of grief, sorrow, shame, and blame. You're overcoming this. You're overcoming hidden self, which is being brought to the self-awareness. Hidden self-deceptions, self-undoings. This is how the karmic debt is getting paid, because you're healing it, you're overcoming it. It's being brought to your attention so that you have to step into your power. You have to step into this true self-awareness. And that doesn't mean that those things of that 12th house is being brought to the attention during the full moon, that you should step backwards and put yourself down. No, this means be aware of the things in the karma of the background, the karmic debt that's got you to where you are now. Acknowledge these things. But that doesn't mean walk back down that path. That means accept what was, accept what had happened, accept that there's a lesson there that strengthens you now by releasing it, surrendering it, and letting it go. And coming into a new power of authority, a new power of self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, through the very self-awareness and illumination of coming into your authentic self, believing in it on a whole new level. But there are going to be some things that's going to feel like it's going to hit you under the gut, because it's awarenesses of self that you have to acknowledge in order to bring this healing forward. And that's going to be showing itself around the full moon on the 12th. Don't forget, Cancer, you all still have the North Node in your sign, which means this is all about, all of this has been leading up more or less to this energy coming in. You know, with the North Node being here and your very illumination, your core energy, your shine. This is helping you reclaim your power and come into that strength and authority, because the North Node tells you what you have to learn in order to move forward. And this is recalibrating the self by learning where you didn't give yourself credit, or where you took credit away for things of the past. And this is reclaiming it. This is strengthening your self-esteem, which illuminates your very self-awareness, identification, appearance, core, and belief in self. Now, as you come into the second house, you have Leo. There's nothing here. But you have more than enough energy coming in with that full moon to still bring that attention to what the second house is. The second house is your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. It also speaks to us about how we create and spend our money according to that self-worth, self-value, and self-esteem. That first house is definitely getting a whammy of strengthening and healing with this new moon. Full moon. So even though there's nothing here, it's helping bring that lioness energy into that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem all on its own. So you're more or less just strengthening that energy. Now, the third house for you has nothing in it as well. This is your communication house. This is those short journeys. This is details, trivia, communication, intellect. It is the small bits of information that are very important. It is our delivery system within that communication. It is the cell phones, the text messages, the emails, the gossip. But it also speaks to us of our neighbors and our siblings and what's close to us in these communications. And again, are they being communicated, the delivery system of that, in a proper way? Now, Virgo doesn't have anything in it right now, but you're very detail-oriented about what you want to spit out. That's just who and what you are. The thing is, Virgo now has Regulus in it, and I'm being reminded to bring that back up because Regulus is the heart of the lion, which means that very communication now has gotten a whole new level of compassion, the heart of the lion. And it's bringing the very important messages to the self-worth, self-value, and self-esteem. And if the communication and the conversations and what we are doing with our life and where we're communicating outwardly doesn't resonate with that self-worth, self-value, and self-esteem, because the lion heart is now, which is Regulus, is now in Virgo, we're going to find we're not even going to waste our time on that communication anymore. And that's a good thing. It's you're trying to work towards talking forward, positive communications, and moving forward. We're not going to waste our time on shit from the past. We're not going to waste our time on the negatives. And that's a good thing. Okay? Now, you're going to find that not just this month, but that's going to be part of who and what you are for now into the rest of your life as Regulus strengthens in Virgo, because it only moves 1 degree for every 77 years. So, you're not going to be alive when it leaves. Let's put it that way. Now, the fourth house for you is Libra. This is your inner emotional security. This is the home, but this is the home where the soul's vessel is, the soul that's hiding inside of the vessel. This speaks to our inner emotional security. This speaks to our true self and the roots of who and what we are, but it also speaks to the child within, and where that child attached to that inner emotional security, whether it was good or bad, because it was how the child was raised. It's the roots of where you came from and where you will return. But on a deeper level, it goes past the home and the material world and into the soulful soul existence and the true real self, bringing back the reincarnation, the karmic lessons that create the inner emotional security and strengthening it. Libra is all about harmony and balance. I often say with Libras, Libra energy tends to put itself last because it's trying to create harmony and balance. And that's the worst thing Libra could do. But because it wants harmony and balance so much, it tends to do that. This is about making yourself first. This is about making yourself first so that you can get back to being right with self. So you can get back to being right with that inner emotional security. You have the collective consciousness that is here in this energy with Ura. It's Haumea, Ura, and Make are in this energy of Libra right now. asking you, the collective consciousness, to discover and understand and really be aware of who and what you are and why you are the way you are and how that supports or has not supported that inner emotional security. Where does the sacrifice and the commitment to self need to come in for that inner emotional security? And how far are you from doing it? Then we put the Libra energy in, and it speaks to us again of that harmony and balance. This is not a time to put yourself behind for other people's balance, for other people's harmony, for other people's justice. This is a time of reclaiming your inner emotional security and realizing you can't be in balance when you always put yourself down so everybody else can be happy. You are supposed to be right up here with everyone else. Now, as you come into that 5th house, this is Scorpio for you. And this is where all of your energies were showing last month. Your inner child, your inner creative expression. This is the pursuit of pleasure and where you're being able to enjoy life. Are you standing in that power and bringing that inner emotional security to yourself to bring that balance back? Because this is saying Mars is here. And if you wasn't last month, or you didn't step into that power last month with all these energies that was going through Scorpio, this was about a rebirthing of getting rid of the things that were keeping you from enjoying life by acknowledging what you need to enjoy life. I mean, like your personal interests, love interests, fun, dating, hobbies, drama, creative expression, dancing, music. What do you enjoy in life? And are you taking the time to actually have time to express yourself in that way and bring that enjoyment forward, to let that inner child play? This is saying Mars is here this month, asking you to take action, asking you to get right with that creative joy of that inner child that allows that creative expression to balance out so inner emotional security can be found. This is asking you again to take time for you and what you enjoy and stop letting everybody else put you on a back burner, or you putting yourself on the back burner so that this can be done and that can be done and this can be done. But at the end of the week, you didn't get to do any of the stuff you wanted to do for you. This is balancing yourself back up into, I have every right to enjoy my life, and I'm not going to allow everybody else to take that away from me. And allowing that inner child to play and pursuit of pleasure to be made. Taking action and enjoying life, not letting everybody else push you around. Now, as you come into Sagittarius energy, we're all walking through Sagittarius energy because the sun is in Sagittarius right now. For you, this is that 6th house. This is going to go right back to all of those first houses. This is your daily task, your everyday, daily, mundane tasks. And these everyday, mundane tasks deal with our health, our diet, our service, our physical ability to be. Healthcare, health, hygiene, working environment. How well are we taking care of ourselves? But in these everyday mundane tasks, we have people, places, and things that we consume in those energies. And these people, places, and things that we consume in these everyday mundane tasks take up so much more energy and more power than we realize that we are giving it. Are these people, places, and things keeping you from enjoying life? From having the time to enjoy life, from having the time to let your inner child out to play, from, having fun, from dating, from experiencing your personal interests, your hobbies, drama, teaching, learning. All of these things, are you taking the time for you? Because the people, places, and things that are part of your energy of you consuming every single day, are they healthy for you? Do they nurture you? Or are you nurturing it, but not yourself, is the question. And like I said, the sun is here helping you to illuminate at this time what you need to be nurturing of yourself in these routines, in these daily routines, and the people, do they need to be there? Are the right people there? People, places, and things of these daily services, daily work, daily activities. Are they healthy for you? Do they nurture you? More or less is what you're looking at. Now, as you come into the 6th house, no, the 7th house, sorry. As we come into the 7th house, this is where you're going to have the new moon and the solar eclipse happen on the 26th. It's Capricorn. And like I said, bases are loaded in Capricorn. Right now, we have up until the 20th when you have Venus move out. You have Pluto, Saturn, Venus, Ceres, and Jupiter. Then come the 21st, you have the sun move in. So your relationship zone is being illuminated in every which way. Your relationship zone is the people in the relationships. It is your children. It is your parents. It is your lovers. It is your working environment. I do not know how many times I can say that you have a relationship with any and everything you care about. And when you're out of money, you know all about your relationship with no money. When you have no car, you know about your relationship with the lack of transportation. So anything you care about, you have a relationship with. But this is also, our friends, our lovers, our children. It's even our open enemies. And what is going on in them? You have Pluto here, death, decay, instruction for renewal, rebirth, and regeneration, which means, how do I change to make this healthy, these relationships? Saturn is saying, well, how do I set up the rules, walls, and boundaries so that it is healthy? Venus is going, oh, I'm going to show you where it's healthy and where it's unhealthy, because I'm going to make you very incredibly uncomfortable in these relationships and very sensitive about what is not healthy. And I'm going to make you feel all ooey gooey, soft and chewy about what is. Ceres is going to bring to your attention where it's been neglected and where it's been nurtured. Jupiter is going to throw abundance at you in every which way. Then the sun's going to move in right before the actual eclipse. You are being shown exactly the relationships that should be in your life and the ones that need to be gone. Period. There's nothing around, no way around that. They're either showing you this can be corrected because this has to be corrected, or hell to the fuck no, and you need to go. It's that simple. Or showing you just the ones that are very good for you and what you do need to spend more time resonating in. Solar eclipse, new moon, bringing new beginnings by learning from what's not working. Illuminating the relationships for the truths of what they are and what needs to happen next. All right. Now, as you move into the 8th house, you don't have anything here until the 20th, right before that solar eclipse and new moon in Capricorn, because Venus will have just moved out and moved into the rules of these relationships. So if Venus couldn't get it through your head right before that new moon, she will start getting it through your head by the rules of the relationships within those 6 days prior to that solar eclipse and new moon. The rules of the relationship speaks to us of joint finances, joint resources, joint efforts. And for some, the rules of the relationship also, the rules of the relationship, depending on what relationship you're looking at, if you're in a spousal relationship, could be dealing with bills, but it could also be dealing with sex. Okay, what are the rules in the relationships? And are those rules properly got proper boundaries and walls set up for your own healthy, incoming? Joint resources, joint efforts, joint finances. Are they able to find transformational healing? Is the question, because Venus is going to be showing you where I'm ooey gooey, soft and chewy, and I'm very comfortable in the relationship because of this. Or I am incredibly uncomfortable because of this, and this is not fair. And she's going to point that out like nobody's business right before that that new moon on the 26th. So pay attention to those relationships at that time. Now, as we come into our 9th house, this is Pisces for you. Now, this is where you might be having a little bit of issues with that higher self and trusting in that higher self right now. Because Neptune is magic. Neptune creates magic, but it doesn't care if it's positive or negative. Neptune doesn't, it's like Mercury. It's man, don't shoot the messenger. Neptune is, I just created what you gave me. Okay? If you are creating from ill waters, it will recreate again and again and create that cycle over and over and over again. Because Neptune is at its weakest right now. And this is our higher self we're talking about. This is our higher education, our higher self, our philosophy, our religion, our ethics, our morals, our spiritual urges, our psychic energy, our higher mind and its wisdom, as well as our spiritual journeying, traveling, and our ceremonies of what's important to us. With Neptune is now direct, but it's in shadow. So it is looking at those darker aspects. And Lilith is right next to it going, I just want you to understand that you live this life burning for you. Your soul fire is for you. It's not for everybody else. So where are you creating from nostalgia that didn't work? Where are you holding on to the idea of something that you want to believe is alive, but it's not? In your higher self. Where are you holding on to pieces of the self that hasn't risen because you still believe in its lower vibrational energy? This is asking us to step past that, believe in ourself, believe in our soul fire, believe that we can create our magic by believing in our higher self, by believing in our authentic self. But that means you have to actually believe in it. Okay? But you're at a weakness right now. Because like I said, Neptune is in shadow, which means there are things going to be trying to pull you back into your grief, sorrow, shame, and blame. Your self-undoing, your self-deception. Making yourself believe that you shouldn't believe that good about yourself. That's ego. Learn that. And tell that shit to shut up. I'm not saying that you are the holier than thou and that everything in the world should fall to your feet. No, that's ego too. But you definitely are not at the bottom of the pedestal. And you don't deserve to be at the bottom of the pedestal. This says believe in yourself, believe in your fire, and allow it to create. And have that conversation with that higher self. Do that illumination. Spend that time, in meditation. And give yourself that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem back for your inner emotional security. Because it's depending on you too right now. This is about your free will to call it forward. Because it won't come forward unless you will it forward. Now, as you come into Aries, this is your honor and your reputation, your professional career, your social success, and your financial success and social foundation. You have Chiron here, which is saying you're learning how to believe in your reputation again. But you're also overcoming past judgments that's made you think that you can't. So this is a healthy thing. This is saying as long as you believe in yourself, you're going to be able to bring it into your actual financial world. You'll bring it into that reputation and bring those responsibilities of what you are capable of forward. Now, as you come into the 11th house is the community, the larger groups, your friends, your memberships, your goals, your dreams. You have Uranus here. Independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, inventive energy. This is saying if you believe in yourself, you can bring these goals, these dreams into reality. But again, that has to do with if you will it so and bringing it forward. And then we end in Gemini, your 12th house. There's nothing here other than the question of will you change? Will you overcome your hidden self? your hidden self-deceptions, your hidden unconscious undoings. This is about no longer holding on to grief, sorrow, shame, and blame. No longer holding on to who you was. And knowing who you can be. Illuminating that very first house, again, with that full moon. I love you guys. Bye.